Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing okay. In this video I will be explaining the most important inputs with the LazyBoy Hedger Ultimate 5.9. And in the second video I will be explaining the rest of the inputs. This will be, these two clips will be pinned in the group, so as a reference for anyone to go back to and get all the details that that you might need. So to start from the beginning, we go at the top here. We have, of course, the activation. I'm only going to talk about the important inputs, and then after that, commodity market, which is true. Most important is here, which is lot size for trading. This has to always be 0.01. And then down here we have a multiplier for it. So this has to be the basic, which is 0.01. If we go down a bit, of course this is our grid system. It has to always be on. Trade has to always be true. And then we come to this section from here to here. We have two kind of cells. One of them is fixed and one of them is profit taking. So the fixed cells, we have a setting here for it. So if our fixed cells, which should not be closed, if they have a gain, we can actually sit here to close it with gains, and we can specify the gain. The gain is usually 15. Don't set it 30. 30 is too much. That's if you want to close the fixed cells if they gain money. This is the opposite. If they close, if the fixed cells have a loss, and you want to close them after a certain loss. For example, after $20 loss, then you can switch this to on, and then after $20 it will close fixed cells if they are in loss. This is up to you. You can use it or you can just keep it to false. And then if we go down a bit more, these only assume real profit, true profit. Just keep them false. These are settings that were tried before and proved to not work very well. That's why just keep them false for now. And then most important after that is lock position choice, which is this here. It's always better to keep it at automatic. Now what this does is it locks the account between the lot size between buy positions and sell positions have to be balanced all the time. This is locking the position of the account. So if I set it to, for example, ratio, I will always match the buy and sell. So if buy goes to say 0.6, then the EA will match the sell positions to be 0.6 as well. If the sell goes to 0.7, then it will match the buy to 0.7 and so forth. So we'll always match both of them. The second setting, which is specified lot size, which is the next field here. So if I say I want it to be specified lot size, then I'm saying I want the buy positions to be 1.5, not more than that, and I want the sell positions as well to be 1.5, not more than that. That's if I want to specify the lot size. Or no lock. Now, no lock works if for example I have more buy positions than sell positions and the price is climbing up, so that means I'm gaining money, so I should set it to no lock. And vice versa, if I have more sell positions and buy positions and the price is dropping down or going down, then I'll be gaining money, so it's better to set it to no lock. Now the automatic setting actually does all this for you. So you don't have to switch this anymore manually. You just set it to automatic and it will set everything for you. So if it sees that your buy positions are more than sell positions, price going up, then it will set it to no lock automatically. If it sees that it's the opposite, it will set it to match or ratio, and it will also look at the specified lot size that you have here. So it will be a mix of all these three actually, and it will switch between them automatically depending on the status. After that, we have lock calculation method. It's always better to set it to average. So we have here the locking mechanism. It has two types of calculation. One, it will calculate the highest buy position and lowest buy position and then get the average, or it will actually calculate the average between a specific period of time. So the average here proved to be working much better or much efficient with locking, with automatic. So it's better to set it to average. After that, this is not important. This here is very important. Grid spacing choice, which is this grid spacing. So I want to say grid spacing every $1, as I said it here, every $1 I want a grid cell to be opened. So this grid cell could be fixed and could be profit taking. If I set it here to amount, so I'm saying I want to always open every $1 grid cell. If I set it to dynamic, actually this will not be one all the time. If the volume is low, it will open 1, volume higher, a bit higher, open 2, a bit higher, open 3, more than that. If it's going crazy, it might open 4, 5, 6, and 7. Grid spacing. What does that mean, grid spacing? 7 grid spacing. So here, instead of 1, it will be actually 0.7. So every 0.7, it will open grid cell. So if I have it dynamic and I have more volume, then this grid spacing will drop down. If the volume is low or the market is low, this actually could go up, could be to 2 or 3. So this is the dynamic. And also we have a mix. A mix means if the market is low, then I'm using both of them. I'm using dynamic and amount. So if the market is low, I will use my specified number, which is 1. But if the market is higher or high or fast or has a lot of movement, then it will open every less than 1. Alright, so this is mix. So this, you can only use this, set it to dynamic or mix if your account can take it, if you have $10,000 and more. If you have less than that, it's better to always keep it at amount. This is the safest. Safest is amount. And if you have small amount of money, for example 1,000, then this should be 3. So every $3 or price goes up every $3, it will open 1 grid cell. If that's if you have less than 1,000. If you have 1,000, if you have less than the 1,000, you can set it to 4. So every $4 will open 1 grid cell. If you have, of course, 5,000, for example, you can leave it at 1. If you have 10,000, you can leave it at 0.7, 0.8. If you have 20,000, for example, you can actually leave this at 0.5. And you can change this to dynamic or mix if you have that much money. After that, these are not important, just keep them the same. If we go down a bit more, grid profiting cells choice. This I'm specifying the one next to it or below it. So what is grid profiting cells? So as we said here, we open 1 grid cell every $1, but how many of grid cells are we opening? Fixed grid cells are only opened at 1 each time. So 1 fixed grid cell, But the profiting grid cell, I actually can specify how many I want to open. Normally it's 1. So if I have $5,000, I just keep it at 1. And this specify if I want it to be specific, so the one I specified, or I can use dynamic. Now when should I use dynamic? If I have a lot of money, if I have $10,000 and more, then I can keep it at dynamic. So what does that do? Instead of opening 1, which I specified, I will actually look at the market and see if it has a lot of movement, a lot of volume. Then we'll increase this. Sometimes we'll open 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 7, maybe 8, depending on the market. So that's if I have it as dynamic. If I have it only as specific, then we'll always only open 1 profiting cell. It will not multiply it. So this is good if you have $1,000, if you have 2, 3, starting from 5, maybe you can use dynamic. You can leave it also as specific and then put it more than that. If you have 10,000, you can put 2, you can put 3, you can put 4. $20,000, you can go 4 and up. So this is specific. The safest is specific. Enable grid lot multiplier. This has to be true, and it specifies the one after that, which is 2. So usually we have the basic lot size here, 0.01. This multiplies the profiting cells by this amount. So my profiting cells will be opened with 1 or 0.2. So multiply 2 by this. These are profiting cells lot size. And you have to put this as true all the time. If you don't want to multiply, so you want your fixed grid cells to be 0.1 and also 0.01, and also your profiting cells to be the same, 0.01, then you should keep this as false. This is very safe for small accounts. But if you have more than 1,000 and up, you can actually put this to true, and then the multiplier is to true and 2. If you have, say, $10,000 and up, you can actually put this to 3. You have 15, 20, you can put it to 4, but not more than 4. I don't recommend more than 4. If we go down a bit more, the grid magic, this is not important, but just keep it as normal. Special case false, this is as well not important. Grid position limit choice open. Grid position limit amount 2. These are all not important. These will be explained in other video or next video, which will have all the settings explained. Buy sell divider volume level. Basically, this also not important. You can just keep it at 200. As buy as sell method as well, just keep it average. We go down, multiply profit cells in tight positions. This you can leave it at true if you have 5,000 and up. You can leave it at false if you have less than that. Multiply profit cells choice. This also we have talked about above, which is you can set it to specific or dynamic. This we said here we can multiply by the volume right here. See, this is the profiting cells, 1 profit cell, and we can multiply it by dynamic if you set it to dynamic. Also down here you can multiply also by the volume or the movement of the market, or you can leave it as specific. If you leave it as specific, it will always be decided based on these two. If you set this to dynamic, it will actually be increased also by this on top of by dynamic. So these two actually specify how many profiting cells we can open. If you keep this as specific, this is more safe or safer to use. If you have more money, you can actually switch this to dynamic. 10,000 I recommend 10,000 and more. You can keep it dynamic. Multiply or existing, and the one next to it, true. These are also not important for now. Time frame 1 minute. Balancing mode choice specific. And we can keep these two as true, balancing. Also we have here that deals with balancing. So if we have automatic, this actually will not have much effect. But if we keep it as here, we keep it as ratio or specified lot size, this will have some effect. So these are dealing with balancing the account. Next to that, allowed difference between buy and sell. If you have small amount of money, I would recommend 0.05. If you have 5 and over, you can set it to 0.1. If you have 10,000, you can set it to 0.2. More than that, 0.3, 0.4, no problem. Should be fine. After that, balance lot size, max lot size. So if you want to balance, we have here this dealing with balancing, this dealing with balancing the account. But I want to actually limit the maximum amount of lot size for balancing the account. So if I have, for example, buy positions that are 0.5 and sell positions that are 0.1, so there's 0.4 difference. I don't want any new position to be opened in favor of sell positions to balance the account. I don't want it to be more than 0.02, which is what I have here. The multiplier, I multiply by 2, remember? Multiply by 2, so my basic is 0.01. If I multiply by 2, then my profiting sales will be 0.02. So as well as here, I want to say that I don't want any profiting cells to be opened more than, with lot size more than 0.02. This is actually 0.02, but MetaTrader does that with numbers, so you can see it's very close to 0.02. After that, this is, you can leave at 3,000. Dynamic divider as well. All these should be left the same. They're not important. Only thing here we need to note, which is consolidation. You know, we have fixed positions and we have profiting sells that take profit. So we have two type of grid cells, as we mentioned. So if the price, for example, climb and gets so far away from some grid cells, I would say 50 and up for a small account, 100 for $5,000 account, and you can go 150 for 10,000 and more. But if I want, at any time I want to consolidate these fixed cells, if they get so far away from the current price. So for example, the current price is 1,000, for example, 1,880, and the price drops all the way to 1,780. So there is $100 difference between my open grid cells, or some of my open grid cells, and the current price. So I can actually switch this to true, make sure this is off, and the last one is on. So this is consolidate double fixed positions. What is double fixed positions? Every time fixed position is opened, is actually opened in double, in pairs. One is buy and one is sell. So they do hedging with one another. So if I want to do consolidation, I switch this to true and this to true, and I should go OK, and then upload or merge or migrate to my VPS, or if I'm doing the trading on my computer, just make sure the algo trading is on. If you do that, it will actually close all the fixed sells that are far away from the current price, and then make sure after a minute or so, just switch this back to false, because this is a very intensive operation, and that's why I don't have it done automatically, because it's an intensive operation. It will actually drop the computer to its knees. I'll bring the computer to its knees because it takes so much CPU power. So switch it on for a minute. You will see fixed positions closed. It takes a few seconds to close the fixed positions, and then after that just switch it to off, and then OK, and then migrate or turn on the algo trading. So these are the most important inputs. In the next video I'll be explaining the rest of the inputs that I didn't explain in this video. Happy trading and have a good day.